Hi, today I want to show you a simple but powerful way to understand our mental health. It's called the Mental Health Continuum, and it helps us see that mental health isn't fixed, it's fluid, and every one of us moves along this continuum throughout our lives. We often say we need to break the stigma, but how do we actually do that? Mental Health Continuum truly sparked my understanding of stigma and marked the beginning of my journey towards seeing mental health from a different, more compassionate perspective. For this explanation, I will refer to the diagram located on page 43 of 2016 MFA Manual. It's heavy. Across this horizontal line, we move from severe diagnosis to no diagnosis. This is where medical language fits. Things like symptoms, diagnosis, treatment. And up and down this vertical line, we move from minimum mental well-being to maximum mental well-being. This is about how we feel, cope, function, and manage daily life. Here, the bottom right, someone has no diagnosis, but the mental well-being is low. Maybe they are overwhelmed, exhausted, withdrawn, and stigma might stop them from asking for help. Bottom left is someone who does have a diagnosis and is also struggling with poor well-being. Fear of judgment or stigma can keep them from accessing support, keeping them stuck when help could lift them up. Now look at the top left. Someone has a diagnosis, but they are coping well, managing their symptoms, and living with positive mental health. And yet, sometimes society still labels them as if they are not allowed to move into the healthier box simply because a diagnosis exists. Let's draw an analogy with physical health. If someone has hypothyroidism, may take thyroid replacement medication such as levothyroxine every day. It is often lifelong. They require regular monitoring and dosage may need adjustments over time. But with that treatment, they function normally. They go to work, raise families, pursue goals, and live full lives. Society accepts this without questions. No one says they are less healthy simply because they take daily medication. So why is it different with mental health? If someone is managing their symptoms, attending therapy, taking prescribed medication, practicing self-care, and living well, why are they still judged? Why are they not considered a normal, healthy human being? This is the stigma we carry in our minds. A diagnosis does not cancel out health. Managing a condition does not mean someone is broken. In fact, it often reflects resilience, insight, and strength. When we create environments where people feel accepted, where they can openly talk about their journeys without fear of being boxed in, we not only validate those who are coping well, but we also encourage those who may be struggling silently. Seeing others live openly and well with a diagnosis can offer hope to those in the lower quadrants who feel stuck. Let's come together to challenge this stigma by changing how we think, how we speak, and how we treat those who are managing their mental health with strength and courage. Finally, the top right is someone with no diagnosis and strong well-being, grounded, connected, coping well. But remember, none of us stays here forever. Life changes, and so do we. These green arrows represent something crucial: stigma, the invisible barrier that stops us from moving on the continuum. Fear of being judged, of judging ourselves, can block us from reaching support or even allowing ourselves to feel better again. So to recognize where we are, we simply check in with ourselves, honestly and without judgment. If you are in healthy space, you may feel calm, connected, motivated, able to handle everyday stress. If your well-being is dipping, you will notice trouble sleeping, irritability, low energy, pulling away from others. If things feel heavy or unmanageable, it may be a sign you are in the struggling zone. And extra support can help lift you upward. And if you have a diagnosis but are coping well, that's still positive mental health. Strength and diagnosis can absolutely coexist. Here's the truth. We all move around this continuum, sometimes in a single week. what matters is not where we are, but whether we notice it early enough to care for ourselves. So take a pause and ask yourself gently today, how am I feeling? How am I coping? Where might I be on this continuum? I have also included a link in the description to the Mental Health Continuum poster, which I found very insightful and hope will support your analysis. In my next video, we'll talk about common sources of stress and how to move upward with compassion, small steps, and support. If you found this helpful, please save it and share it with anyone who might benefit. Thank you for being here. See you.